O glorious Saint Anthony, friend of the poor and mirror of divine compassion, I come before your holy presence with a heart that trembles between despair and hope. In moments when all seems lost and no path appears before me, I remember your unfailing love and the miracles you have granted through the grace of God. You, the chosen vessel of mercy, have never turned away a soul in need. Your intercession is known across generations as the most powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, and I call upon that power now. You who held the infant Jesus in your arms, who walked among the suffering and lifted up the broken, hear my cry. I bring my urgent needs before you, not with pride, but with the humility of a wounded heart. May this Saint Anthony prayer stir the heavens and release blessings that only divine intervention can deliver. I believe in your heavenly presence, and I believe in a miracle prayer today. Not tomorrow, not later, but now, in this sacred moment of surrender. If your heart is open to grace, type "Glory to God" in the comments and invite the miracle into your life today. Beloved Saint Anthony of Padua, I come before you with a heart that has known the pain of loss, the weight of unanswered prayers, and the silence of long nights. But even in the darkness, I have not let go of faith, because I believe in your powerful intercession. You, who are the miracle worker of impossible causes, can speak to heaven on my behalf when my own voice falters. This is a prayer to Saint Anthony for urgent help, a cry from the depths of my soul. I believe you can unlock doors that have long been shut, and I know that what seems impossible to me is just the beginning of what God can do. Saint Anthony, look upon the broken areas of my life, the places where love has dried up, where finances have collapsed, where illness has stolen joy, and pour divine healing into every crack. With this healing prayer to Saint Anthony, I place every worry, every anxious thought, and every burden in your hands. You have walked with the forgotten and stood with the desperate. Stand with me now. Speak my name in heaven's courts, and let angels be dispatched to lift me from this valley. I trust in the Catholic prayer for miracles because I've seen them happen for others. I believe one is already on its way to me. This is not just a prayer, it is an impossible prayer that works, because I am choosing to believe even when nothing around me has changed. That kind of faith, Saint Anthony, is the key that opens heaven's storehouses. Let your intercession guide me to the answers I seek. Keep me through the waiting, hold me through the trial, and remind me that there is still more to this story. I will not turn away. I will stay to the end of this prayer because I know that the blessing I need might be revealed in the very last word. Comment Amen if you believe Saint Anthony is already working on your behalf, even in this very moment. We stand at the edge of everything we know. Our strength is gone, our plans have failed, and we whisper, I can't do this anymore. But that's the exact moment when God sends help. Saint Anthony appears not with thunder, but with quiet, steady light. He's the patron of lost things because he brings back what we thought was gone forever. Hope, peace, even our own belief in miracles. This is a miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, and it begins where your faith feels weakest. Imagine holding a letter you wrote to heaven, soaked in tears. You've waited days, months, maybe years for a response. But this mystery reminds you that no prayer is ever lost in God's hands. What if your answer was always in motion, just waiting for the right moment? This is not fantasy. This is faith. The unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony works because it touches God's heart through a servant who has already been proven faithful. Saint Anthony lived in obedience, simplicity, and boldness. He gave his voice to the voiceless, healed the sick, and restored broken families, not with magic, but with mercy. This is what makes his intercession so powerful. When you whisper his name, heaven hears it like a familiar song. That's why this powerful Catholic miracle prayer carries a history of results. It's a prayer that has left a trail of miracles behind it. When you feel invisible in the crowd of prayers rising to heaven, remember this: God knows your voice. He knows your pain. He knows exactly why you were led to this moment. This isn't coincidence. It's a divine appointment. And when you pray with Saint Anthony, you're not praying alone. You're praying with the entire communion of saints behind you. Miracles aren't loud. They often come wrapped in silence, through sudden peace, unexpected provision, a phone call that changes everything. This is the kind of transformation that begins when we trust Saint Anthony to speak for us in the spiritual realm. You may not see the wind move, but the atmosphere around your life is shifting. Heaven is organizing a response to your cry. There are some who will never understand what it means to wait in desperation, but you do, and that makes your prayer authentic, raw, real. It's not about repeating perfect words. It's about surrender. That's what opens the gate for the miracle prayer today to flow freely. You've prayed before, but now you're praying with a different kind of authority, one rooted in faith, not fear. Let Saint Anthony walk beside you as you present your deepest need. Say it aloud. Whisper it, cry it. Heaven is not fragile. It can handle your honesty. It welcomes it. The prayer that works instantly is the one made from a heart that holds nothing back. This is your moment to release it all and let Saint Anthony bring your words before the throne of mercy. Don't be surprised if things begin to shift before this prayer even ends. Saint Anthony's help is not delayed by time, it's activated by faith. Some have felt physical peace flood their bodies while praying this very mystery. Others have seen restoration begin in their families before they even opened their eyes. That is the power of a prayer to Saint Anthony for family restoration. You've come too far to stop now. Don't listen to the voice of doubt. It doesn't belong here. In this mystery, we silence every fear with the echo of trust. We declare that God is able and that He often sends His miracles through the hands of His saints. Believe this: if you've reached this part of the prayer, something has already begun. Start expecting good news. Begin to prepare your heart for a divine interruption. Even now, Saint Anthony is whispering your name in the courts of heaven. He's not pleading, he's declaring that your need is worthy of a response. That's the strength of this prayer to Saint Anthony for urgent help. It doesn't ask for crumbs, it calls down abundance. So breathe deeply. Let this mystery soak into your spirit. Say aloud, I receive it, and believe with every fiber of your being that your story is about to turn a miraculous corner. Because Saint Anthony is not just the saint of the lost. He is the saint of restoration, recovery, and divine redemption. If you believe something powerful is already happening, write "Thank you, Saint Anthony" in the comments below and receive this grace with full expectation. There are moments when we feel like our prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. We cry, we beg, we fast, and yet silence. But here's what you may not know. Silence is not absence. Heaven does some of its greatest work in the quiet. Saint Anthony understands this. When he prayed, he wasn't moved by noise, but by trust. And that's why this prayer to Saint Anthony for financial breakthrough holds so much power. It doesn't just speak, it listens. God doesn't measure time the way we do. What seems delayed to us is perfect alignment in heaven. You've been asking for relief, for bills that won't wait, for food on the table, for gas in the car. This is not selfish. This is survival. And Saint Anthony, protector of the poor and voice of the forgotten, sees it all. He walks with those who have nothing left but hope. And hope is where miracles begin. Let this be your emergency prayer for financial help, not out of panic, but out of faith. When you speak this mystery, you're inviting divine provision into places the world said were beyond repair. Maybe you've been embarrassed to ask for help. Don't be. There's no shame in surrender. There's only strength. The Lord delights in lifting the humble and showing His glory through those who trust Him deeply. This holy man didn't gather treasures on earth, yet he lacked nothing. Why? Because he knew where his provision came from. He knew how to tap into divine abundance. And he still does. When you pray this holy prayer for impossible requests, you're not asking for what the world can give. You're asking for what heaven has stored up with your name on it, waiting to be released. Sometimes the miracle isn't just a check in the mail, it's a new job, an unexpected discount, a debt forgiven, or peace in your spirit while you wait. Miracles come in many shapes. Don't limit God. Saint Anthony isn't just helping you find lost items. He's helping you recover the life you thought you lost. Financial healing is real, and it can start right now. Have you ever watched something be restored slowly, piece by piece? That's how God works in broken finances, and Saint Anthony is heaven's craftsman, restoring value where the world saw only failure. With this powerful Catholic miracle prayer, you're asking for more than money. You're asking for wisdom, stewardship, peace, and freedom. You're not greedy for wanting stability. You're not selfish for praying for overflow. You're preparing your life to be a vessel of blessing so that you can bless others. Saint Anthony wants that for you too. He knows the weight you carry when the money runs out, but the needs don't. And that's why you're here, because something deep in your soul knows this mystery holds the key. Picture this. An envelope you weren't expecting arrives. A friend offers help. A door opens that had been shut for years. That's the kind of breakthrough we're speaking into existence. You're not imagining it, you're activating it. This is more than a wish. It's a prayer that works instantly when spoken with faith, humility, and surrender. Faith is not pretending everything's fine. Faith is believing that even when it's not, God is still in control, and He is. Through Saint Anthony's intercession, countless families have seen debts erased, marriages restored, and businesses reborn. This miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is the seed, and your faith is the soil. Watch what begins to grow. Even if you've made financial mistakes, even if you're at rock bottom, you are not disqualified. Grace doesn't expire. Saint Anthony doesn't bring judgment. He brings restoration. Today can be the day things begin to turn around. But don't just pray this and walk away. Soak in it, breathe it in, speak it daily, like medicine for your soul. Stay with this prayer. The next moment could be the one that shifts your story. This mystery is not over yet. It's unfolding even now. Keep pressing in. Your faith is louder than your fear. Your obedience is stronger than your doubt. And Saint Anthony is not just hearing your cry, he's delivering it to the very heart of God. If you believe God is preparing a breakthrough just for you, comment, "My miracle is coming," below, and let the heavens know you're ready to receive it. There's something unexplainably powerful about intercession. When someone lifts your name in prayer before heaven, especially someone like Saint Anthony, the atmosphere changes. His prayers aren't casual, they're bold, direct, filled with compassion. He knows the weight you carry. And when you whisper his name with faith, it echoes in places you can't see. That's what makes this an unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony, because it's rooted not in desperation alone, but in sacred trust. You may have tried everything: doctors, counselors, lawyers, even late-night tears. But some battles are spiritual, and they require a spiritual response. This is why you're here now. This is why this moment matters. This is not just a prayer for desperate cases. It's the beginning of divine reversal. Saint Anthony isn't a last resort. He's heaven's strategic ally for those who believe. When you've lost more than just objects, when you've lost peace, hope, direction, Saint Anthony becomes the guide back home. He is known for helping people find lost things, but the truth is, he helps people find themselves too. In a world that often forgets the broken, he remembers. He lifts the name of the forgotten into God's hands and says, "This one matters. This one is ready for restoration." Have you ever watched a loved one fade away emotionally? Have you felt the distance between family members who once shared everything? This is the mystery where we ask Saint Anthony to intercede in broken relationships. This prayer to Saint Anthony for family restoration is not about control. It's about healing. Love may have been wounded, but it can be made whole again through divine grace. What happens when your prayers aren't enough? When you've said all the right words and still feel empty? That's when the saints step in, not to replace your voice, but to amplify it. Saint Anthony doesn't pray instead of you. He prays with you, and together your voices rise like incense before the throne of mercy. This is the heartbeat of every prayer that works instantly. Union with heaven. Some people believe miracles are rare, but that's only because they've stopped expecting them. Saint Anthony reminds us that miracles are not only possible, they are personal. He doesn't offer vague blessings. He brings specific breakthroughs. This miracle prayer today is meant for real problems, real pain, real people, and you are one of them. Think back to the last time something happened that you couldn't explain. A moment of perfect timing, a solution that appeared out of nowhere. That wasn't luck, that was mercy in motion. It was Saint Anthony's intercession working behind the veil. This mystery calls us to trust, not in chance, but in the powerful Catholic miracle prayer that touches the divine directly. You're not asking for luxury. You're asking for light in the darkness, and heaven responds to that kind of sincerity. When you pray with Saint Anthony, you're not manipulating God. You're aligning yourself with heaven's compassion. That's why your voice is important. Your cry is holy. And this mystery is where you remember that every tear you've shed has been seen. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. God doesn't require flawless faith. He honors the faith that keeps coming back, even when it's shaking. Saint Anthony honors that kind of heart too. That's why this impossible prayer that works is not based on how worthy you feel. It's based on how willing you are to trust again. Have you noticed the change already? That stirring in your heart, that's not just emotion. That's faith waking up again. That's your spirit responding to the nearness of divine presence. Don't brush it off. Stay in it. Saint Anthony is still praying, still working, still moving the pieces behind the scenes. Keep going. He doesn't need time to work. He needs your permission to move. Let this be the moment you say, "Yes, Lord, I trust again." Let Saint Anthony take your prayer and place it gently before the Father. No fear, no striving, just surrender. That's where the miracle begins. You are not alone. You were never alone. Even when the world grew quiet and friends disappeared, this holy saint never stopped watching over you. That's the power of intercession. It stands guard when you can't. It fights when you're too tired. And it reminds you in every moment that your name is known in heaven. If you've felt this prayer speak directly to you, write "I trust in you, Saint Anthony" in the comments and stay with us. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey when the heart must decide, will I hold on or will I let go and let God take over? This is that moment. This mystery invites you to stop fighting with your own strength and start surrendering with faith. Saint Anthony didn't perform miracles by striving. He simply trusted. And through his trust, heaven responded with power. This isn't the kind of surrender that means giving up. No, this is sacred surrender. It means saying, I can't fix this, but I know the one who can. And in that act, you open yourself up to the divine. That's what this healing prayer to Saint Anthony is really about. Not just healing bodies, but restoring broken faith, shattered dreams, and weary spirits. When was the last time you stopped trying to control everything? When did you last rest in the truth that God already has a plan, even when it looks nothing like yours? Saint Anthony teaches us that true miracles happen when we stop grasping and start releasing. This is not weakness, it's spiritual maturity, and it's where miracles are born. Many of us carry invisible weights: guilt, regret, shame, fear. We don't show them to others, but we feel them every day. In this mystery, let Saint Anthony reach into the depths of your soul and lift those burdens. The prayer to Saint Anthony for urgent help is not just for the outside struggles, but for the quiet battles within. And today, they end here. You were not created to carry all of this alone. Even Jesus had help carrying his cross. Why should you be any different? Let Saint Anthony walk beside you now. Let him speak courage into your fear, light into your confusion, peace into your storm. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to pray and trust. This is your chance to hand it over. The diagnosis, the divorce, the debt, the distance, the doubt. Lay it at the feet of Saint Anthony and say, do what I cannot. That is the essence of this holy prayer for impossible requests. It's not about our ability, but God's faithfulness. And he has never failed. Some think they need to clean up their lives before praying, but it's the prayer that begins the cleansing. Come as you are, tired, unsure, messy. That's exactly who grace was designed for. Saint Anthony doesn't expect perfection. He responds to honesty. He responds to humility. He responds to broken people who still believe. There is a freedom waiting for you in this mystery, a release, a deep exhale of the soul. What if everything you've been begging for is already being handled? What if, as you pray, angels are already moving on your behalf? This is the heart of the Catholic prayer for miracles. You don't always see it, but something is always shifting. God is not slow. He is strategic. He's not ignoring you. He's aligning everything. And when it finally arrives, it will make perfect sense. Saint Anthony is here to help you hold on just a little longer. To remind you that your breakthrough isn't late, it's loading. And the longer the wait, the greater the glory. If you've come this far, it means you're hungry for change. You're ready for more than comfort. You want transformation. This mystery is your invitation to step out of survival mode and into surrender, to trade anxiety for assurance, to let Saint Anthony take your hand and walk you out of fear, step by step. Think of this not as another prayer, but as a holy transaction. You give your burden, heaven gives you peace. You give your control, God gives you direction. You release your timeline, He releases His will, and His will is always better, always higher, always right on time. Don't rush this moment. Let it settle into your spirit. Speak your pain out loud, then let it go. Saint Anthony is listening, and more importantly, God is responding. This is sacred ground, and every time you choose surrender over struggle, you create space for heaven to move. This is where transformation begins, in the mystery of surrender, in the place where faith is deeper than fear. You're not praying alone, you're praying with an army of angels, with the saints, with Saint Anthony himself. And they are fighting for you in ways you cannot see. If your soul feels lighter already, write "I surrender to God" in the comments. And let this prayer carry you into the miracle that's been waiting for you. This is the moment where everything shifts, not because your problem disappeared, but because your faith finally anchored itself in God's promise. You've walked through desperation, healing, intercession, and surrender. Now you stand at the edge of divine manifestation. This is the mystery where belief becomes experience, where prayers become answered, where hope becomes reality. You may not feel it yet, but something in the spirit world has already changed. When Saint Anthony takes your prayer, he doesn't just carry it. He seals it with faith and presents it to the Father with boldness. That's why this is the most powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, because it's not whispered in weakness, it's declared in holy confidence. The enemy wants you to doubt now, right at the finish line. He wants to plant thoughts like, "Nothing's happening," or "This is just emotional." But don't listen. You didn't come this far just to feel better. You came for a breakthrough, and you're standing in it. Heaven is already responding. Keep your heart open. Saint Anthony is not a saint of the past. He's a warrior of the present. He still works, still fights, still intercedes. That's why this is not just a tradition, it's a transaction of grace. When you speak this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, something always happens, sometimes immediately, sometimes in waves, but always in perfect timing. Have you noticed how your breathing has slowed during this prayer? How your mind feels calmer? That's not coincidence. That's the presence of the Holy Spirit wrapping you in peace. And peace is the first sign of breakthrough. Financial peace, emotional peace, spiritual peace. Saint Anthony is a messenger of that peace. Start speaking as if it's already done. Begin thanking God for the answer, even before you see it. Say, "Thank you, Lord, for what you're doing right now." That's the posture of faith. That's what triggers the impossible. This is the heart of the impossible prayer that works. It doesn't wait to celebrate. It celebrates into reality. Your miracle doesn't need explanation. It needs expectation. Stop rehearsing your fear. Start rehearsing your faith. Begin to see yourself whole, healed, free, provided for. Close your eyes and imagine the chains falling off. That's not fantasy. That's prophecy. And it's being fulfilled through this very moment of prayer. It might come in the form of a phone call, a message, a job offer, a reconciliation, or even a dream that gives you clarity. Be ready, because the prayer to Saint Anthony for financial breakthrough is not just poetic, it's practical. God responds to specifics, and your needs have been made known. Remember this: gratitude is a magnet for miracles. The more you thank God, the more your heart aligns with His will. Don't wait until the blessing arrives. Thank Him now. Say, "God, I know you are already moving. I trust you completely." And Saint Anthony is in agreement with that trust. You are not leaving this prayer empty-handed. You are walking away filled with courage, with assurance, with supernatural peace. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something sacred, something new. The unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony is now planted like a seed in your soul. Let your faith rise like the sun after a long night. Let every tear you've cried water the ground where your miracle will bloom. You've waited long enough. Now it's time to receive. Say aloud, "I receive my miracle," and believe it. Because faith is not a feeling, it's a decision. And you've just made it. Think of what's already changed inside you. You started this prayer in desperation, but now you stand in confidence. That's not just a good feeling, that's transformation. And Saint Anthony has been walking beside you every step of the way, cheering you on, lifting your name to the Lord. Every time you doubted, He reminded heaven of your faith. Every time you cried, He held your name in His prayers. And now, He's rejoicing with you. Because this mystery was not just about getting something, it was about becoming someone. Someone who believes again, someone who dares to expect the miraculous. Don't stop now. Don't fade away after this video ends. Carry this spirit of faith with you into every part of your life. Speak the words of victory over your home, your children, your finances, your health. You are not the same. You have been touched by grace. And grace doesn't leave things as it found them. If you believe the miracle has already begun, comment, "It is done," and share this with someone who needs Saint Anthony's intercession today. May the peace that surpasses all understanding flood your heart right now. May the presence of God, through the intercession of Saint Anthony, silence every storm inside your soul. You are not alone. Heaven has been leaning close to your prayer. Every whispered plea, every silent tear has been received, and the answer is already unfolding. In this sacred space, let every heavy burden be lifted from your shoulders. The pain, the fear, the uncertainty, release it now, because Saint Anthony has already placed your name before the throne of grace. Divine help is no longer on the way. It is here. Rest in that truth. May your body feel the warmth of healing from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. If you have suffered in silence, may this be the day that ends. God's hand is upon you, gently mending what no doctor could fix. Believe that this healing prayer to Saint Anthony has awakened something eternal within you. To those waiting for restoration in their homes, may love return where there was coldness. May forgiveness rise where there was bitterness. May laughter be heard again in halls that once echoed with silence. Saint Anthony is not just a saint of lost things. He is a saint of family restoration. For your finances, I declare favor and abundance over your life. May debts disappear like morning fog, and may new doors open with divine appointments. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. Let this prayer to Saint Anthony for financial breakthrough be your declaration of provision. You will no longer walk in fear, but in freedom. The chains of anxiety, regret, and shame are broken. Saint Anthony walks with you, and the Spirit of God lives in you. Where you go, light follows. Where you speak, peace settles. You are a carrier of blessing. To the one who felt like giving up, this is your turning point. This is where faith rewrites your story. Today, the heavens smiled because you chose to believe again. And that decision shook the darkness off your future. Saint Anthony rejoices with you. No matter how many prayers you've prayed before, this one was different. It wasn't just another plea, it was a holy agreement, a covenant between your heart and God's promises. This unfailing prayer to Saint Anthony is now a banner over your life. Miracle in progress. Receive this blessing not with hesitation, but with boldness. Walk forward knowing that something has shifted. It doesn't matter how long you waited. The miracle was never denied, only divinely timed. And now, the season of fulfillment begins. May this peace stay with you, even when the world tries to shake it. May this hope burn in you when circumstances speak the opposite. Let Saint Anthony remind you daily that heaven never stops working for those who believe. Stay close, stay grounded, stay in prayer. Let this journey be a seed of something greater. Share this faith. Live it boldly. Don't be silent about the miracle. You are now a witness. You've been touched by something holy, and you will never be the same. You were blessed to be a blessing. If this blessing touched your spirit, write, "I receive this blessing" in the comments and declare it aloud over your life today. What if today really was the day everything began to change? What if this prayer wasn't just something you listened to, but something heaven responded to in real time? Can you feel it? That pull in your heart to believe again, to dream again, to live with a kind of faith that dares to expect the impossible. Don't ignore it. That's the miracle already in motion. Has your heart been stirred? Has your spirit awakened? Then don't go back to normal. Don't return to routine like nothing happened. You've walked through a holy experience, and you've come out different. From now on, carry this presence with you into every part of your life. You are no longer the same. Let your words change. Let your thoughts change. Speak blessings over your home, your work, your health. Speak miracles into your family, because you are no longer praying as someone in need, but as someone who believes the answer is already here. That's the true power of this miracle prayer today. It transforms the heart, not just the situation. If your life was touched by this prayer, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone you love. You never know who is silently waiting for a miracle just like you were. Let them hear this prayer, and let Saint Anthony touch their hearts too. Now, before you go, if this prayer spoke to your heart, hit the like button. It tells us that more people need to hear this. Comment a mem below to seal your faith and declare that your miracle is underway. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss another moment of divine connection through prayer. And please share this prayer with a friend or family member who needs urgent help, healing, or hope. This might be the video that saves someone's life, restores a marriage, or opens a door. Don't underestimate the power of sharing. Thank you for walking this sacred journey with us. Saint Anthony is with you, and heaven is smiling upon you. We'd love to hear from you. What touched you the most in this prayer? What are you believing God for today? Your testimony could inspire someone else to keep going. You're not just a viewer. You're a voice of faith. Speak it, share it, live it. Together, let's flood this platform with light, hope, and miracles. Your story is just beginning, and we're honored to walk it with you.